next presenters, I'm going to bring up a friend of our section, Will Robbins, who is NorCal's 2023 Teacher of the Year. He is part of our California Teaching and Coaching Hall of Fame. He's a results-based coach and the creator of the modern PGA coach training, helping instructors deliver guaranteed lower scores to their players. He's also the founder of the scoring method, the on-course coaching system revolutionizing golf instruction worldwide. He's going to be introducing our next presenter, Will Robbins.
Good stuff. All right, I have no idea what song's playing, but I will dance if anybody wants me to. I'm happy to do that. Okay, so first and foremost, great to be here in SoCal. Always enjoy coming down for this event. Today, I got a good friend of mine, Cordie Walker, who I'm sure some of you, Golf Science Lab, raise your hands if you've checked out that podcast, Golf Well. So Cordie and I met about 13 years ago. We're going to sort of give you some insights today into what's called the PGA Modern Coach Marketing. So who of you have seen the PGA Modern Coach training? Raise your hands. Okay, we got a few in here. Fantastic. So a lot of big things are going to be happening in the next, I would say, year with PGA Modern Coach and PGA Coach as a whole. Jamie tomorrow is going to be talking about the transformation of the summit and making it all about play the game. And we've heard today from Rick a lot about this concept of getting out on the golf course, getting people to play the game, learn how to play, help our coaches really develop better coaches in the PGA of America. So today I'm going to invite Cordie Walker up on stage, and we're really going to dive into marketing concepts. I'd ask all of you to start with, actually I'm going to take a seat. Cordie, you want to take a seat? Yeah. Look at these seats, are lovely. Looking for your bottle of water?
I'm looking for the clicker.
The clicker? That'll show up at some point. So how many people in here would say right now they're definitely looking for more students? Give me a raise of hands right now. Okay. How many of you are actively coaching? How many of you would say, yeah, coaching? Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
So I think, at least for me, Cordie, I'm a step ahead of Jamie Mulligan. Let's put it this way. So Jamie's on no social media, correct, Jamie? Like zero. Do you know? I'm not even sure. So I have a MySpace page, so I'm a little bit ahead of Jamie. So I've got that going for me. But today, really what I'd like to do is have an open conversation. We've got Cordie here. You're going to give us a little bit of your background. But really, raise your hand, ask questions, because what I'd love you all to be able to leave here with today is the strategy that works for you for your marketing to gain more clients. So Cordie, give us a little bit of your background, and we'll dive into it.
Yeah, so I really hope today is like a coaching session for our businesses, that we can come away with a few notes. So hopefully let's pull our phones out, like be taking some notes and have some ideas, because that's really the goal is we're going to talk about some principles, and then we're going to talk about some tactics, so we can utilize both of those things. But my background, I got to know you a long time ago and have been in the golf instruction space, getting to know instructors because I had a failed software startup in my past. So that's how I got into this space, and it was just so fun. I've hung out in the space ever since. But alongside the stuff that you might have seen I do in golf, I run a marketing agency, and I actually have started some local businesses as well, a flooring store, very relevant to that career path there with golf instruction software startup, flooring store, and then in a real estate brokerage. So my role was to, all right, how am I going to drive sales? How am I going to do marketing for these things? And it's my money I'm spending. So I'm not going to waste my own money in that role. So that is the, oh boy. We're losing.
He's throwing stuff around.
There we
I'll
go.
grab it for you. Of service.
And so that's the experience that I'm going to pull from today is, as a local business, what are the principles that we need to kind of make sure that we're doing when we dive into that? Because golf coaching, I mean, we can relate it to any other local service business. You have people in need. They have a problem. They need to get better at golf, and you have a solution to that, just like a plumber or like we do with flooring, right? It's the same thing. So we need to get in front of that audience, get their attention, and then call them to an action. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, love it. So how many people would say actively they feel confident, competent with social media? Give us a raise of hands. Okay, yeah, and again, SoCal PGA has I saw Jamie's hand being pushed up there. SoCal has obviously, the PGA has a phenomenal social media presence. And so how many of you would say confused, understand, maybe I should do it, I don't have time for it, not sure if I like it? Yeah, I'm gonna raise my hand for that one too. Okay, yes, there we go. So let's talk about, Cordie, let's bring up that first slide that you sort of showed me yesterday when we started to talk about it a little bit. The idea of, at least for me, I look at there's YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, I don't even know the rest of them, and just the overwhelming information that I see is you've got to post 6 or 7 times a day, and you've got to be on every platform. Are you all hearing this as well? Like, is this some of the stuff that you hear? It just overwhelms me. So talk to me about, like, what's your understanding of how to effectively do this?
Yeah, so I think I want to talk about the essential pieces. And for me, in my experience, that's not, we need to be on Instagram posting all the time. We need to, be making videos all the time and doing that kind of stuff, which might be opposite, because I do all that stuff, right? But the thing that I have learned, knowing you guys, knowing golf coaching businesses, and then being a local business owner myself, is like, that's not the stuff that actually is going to make a difference for me. So today, we're going to build kind of like the framework and the foundation of what we need to be doing. It's like grip, posture, stance kind of stuff today that we're going to tackle. Yeah. That really important stuff, instead of talking about how we need to get videos going and all that stuff. Because like it's a ton of work. I did the math today. So we have this YouTube channel called Golfwell where I go around and talk with awesome instructors. It's super fun. We've had a blast. You've been in town. We've been doing some stuff. And like, you might think like, maybe I should start a YouTube channel, right? That's what everyone seems to be doing. It's going really well. I looked in our system this morning. So my team, we track our hours in this app called Clockify, and we've spent 1,500 hours, not including my time. So I have some time in there too. This year alone, just making videos. And so it's incredibly intensive, whether in your time or your team's time or hiring someone. It gets really expensive to do that. So I don't think we should start there. I think we should start with some stuff that we can do first before we maybe think about that.
Has anybody, just a raise of hands, has anyone done a Facebook campaign and sort of put money behind it, or a social media campaign? Raise your hands if you've done some. Anybody seen a good success, or, okay, good.
Love it.
Anybody been burnt on it? Kind of feel like you've thrown money into the just metaverse or whatever it's called? I'm really good at that, just throwing money away. I've just really become quite solid at it. Yeah. So talk to us about, where do we start? Like, what would you say then is marketing 101? Like, how do you actually make money out of this?
Yeah, so we're going to take care of the basics. And so this is kind of the framework we're going to use today. This is the principle. It's review, engage, automate, and leverage. So these are kind of the steps that we're going to go through, and we're going to work through together. We're going to take some notes, and we're going to kind of get going with this. But the first thing we got to start with is review. Where do your students come from? Like, we got to know who our audience is, and we got to know what they look like, what they're interested in, what their pain points are, and where they're at. So that's where we're going to start. And I want to do this kind of as a team here, as a group. So let's pull out your phone, open up a notes app, and let's kind of make a list of our students, and we'll do this live with you here.
Okay. I'm going to pick on some people out here as well.
Perfect. Okay, so last week, what kind of coaching do you do?
Last playing lesson, Friday morning.
Okay. Who is there?
3 guys, Dave Ayton, Rob Scott, and was it Ken? I think it was Ken,
where'd they come from? Or like, how did they get in your orbit?
Actually, so it was Jason. Jason introduced from a friend from church.
Okay.
Dave Ayton introduced from another friend that was in the program.
Yep.
And then a shout out, Anthony, PGA coach lead on Friday. So I was stoked about that one. So yeah, nice. two referrals and one.
2 referrals, one
PGA
PGA coach. Anything else? Let's find a couple more students.
Playing lesson Wednesday. Ken, again, referral.
Okay.
Ike, I think, I'm not sure. I've got to ask him. He was a new guy. I think possibly a PGA coach, or just found the website somehow. And then one of my longtime students, so a referral.
Referral. Yeah. What are you guys writing down? Is that a similar kind of concept? Referral, friend of a friend, PGA coach lead. We like those. Those are great. Is everyone signed up for PGA Coach? Have a profile?
Tony, we're
Those
going
are
to pick
great.
on you. Let's pick on you. Tony, last lesson you did, do you remember the player, name, where'd you get him from?
Nice.
Saturday. Nice.
Okay, PGA Coach Lee.
Lesson before that? Referral. Okay.
Great. So word of mouth and referrals, right? Like, that's what everyone thrives on. There we go.
Well, is anybody, as we're saying that, is anybody getting them, has anyone found anywhere else where they're like really driving a lot of customers from?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Alison, what about for you? Where would you say you're getting your last 3 or 4 students? Where do you feel like they've come from? Instagram. Okay, perfect. What's the call to
Love it.
action on Instagram? What? Nice. Okay. So the answer there was just seeing on the awards that Alison's won. You know, the list that she's on. You and me. I love it. We got to get a photo of that afterwards,
Yeah,
right?
the
Top
T50s?
50. Yeah,
Yeah.
love it. So again, I think you're going to talk about that, right? Like, how do you actually use Instagram at the end of this? How do you actually use Instagram? How do you shout out the successes that you're having?
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else seeing that if you just go past through your last 10 students that you've got, are you seeing a commonality? Ben, what about for you? Concierge. Okay, nice. Connections from the hotel resort. Yeah.
That's
okay.
great.
Perfect. Anybody else? Josh? Referrals, yeah.
Yeah.
So a quick question I was asked though, do you have a system in place, or do all of you have a system in place to actually get a referral? Like, are you asking specifically for referrals? Do they come organically? How does that work for you, Josh? Yeah. Yeah. So Josh was saying you're all horrible. I don't know if you heard that, but that's what he said. But the idea of like, everyone says customer, you know, it's the whole idea word of mouth is the best thing, but most of us don't actually promote people to tell them to talk about us, right? So I think that's one of those basic things that we're going to dive into here today is it's not flashy, it's simple. Because it's simple, it's not that easy to do because we could do it anytime, but we don't get around to it. So talk to us, what would you say, Cordie, so you start to look at that? Like, how do you got that list, you got those people.
Yeah, well, so the principle here is know who your students are. The tactics will vary when you know that. So I want to dive into kind of like those of us that have referral and word of mouth as those top sources. But like if it's concierge, if it's Instagram, then the principal needs to know that's where they come from and then engage and tailor your marketing efforts towards those folks, right? Like, that's what you need to be focused on. Because the truth is, and I fall into this camp like probably once a week when I go run to my team that like we're not doing something, is what stresses us out is the marketing and actions that probably don't make a big difference. But the things that do make a big difference are hard. It is sending a text message. It's going up and like just asking someone. We were talking a bit like, where is your audience at? Well, they're on the driving range, right? Like there's your starving audience of people that have a problem. It's doing those difficult things that will actually make a big difference in filling your lesson book or just creating more demand and helping you serve your students better with those actions.
So when you talk about that with the driving range, one of the things that I would say I see is a lot of people are jumping to social, trying to draw attraction, right? How can I get an audience? How can I get people to us? But you sort of made the comment about plumbers don't have 50 people standing in a line with a broken sink.
Yeah, this is great. We were having a bit of banter yesterday, and it was like, yeah, a plumber cannot just go to a place and see everybody with all their broken plumbing lined up. Like, you guys do. There's a bunch of people just there that have a problem, and they might not have their hands up saying, like, come help me, but there are ways that you can go do what's maybe not comfortable, but step out and create more opportunity there with people that are probably really good students for you.
That means they're bad golfers. They're terrible,
golfers,
right? They suck at golf. Like, we all know that from last time I presented to you guys. So what's the way to engage then? How do we start to have those conversations? Because I think a lot of us, who has an email list? Raise your hand if you've got using something like MailChimp or something like that. Okay, great. I like it. There's a lot of hands that are not raised, because I think that's more important to like hit, like, how do you start to generate more business through right, really organic ways of doing it. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, so next principle is engage. So we know who our students are. Now we have to engage with our most effective marketing path. So the question is then, right, so like referrals and word of mouth are my number one. So how do I get more of that? And most people, that feels like, I don't know. They'd probably just let it happen, right?
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of opportunity to make it happen more. And really, I mean, the whole goal here is that, like, you guys are great coaches serving students well. So the more that we can get in front of these people is we're helping more golfers by doing this. And so what we're going to talk about here is kind of an engagement strategy for you, is to increase word of mouth and increase referrals. We need to stay in touch with our students better. That's the principle. And you might think like, oh yeah, my students know who I am. My students come back. They know the plan. But I think sometimes we get a little overconfident in how we communicated with them, when maybe we need to remind them again and again what the plan is, who we are, and stay in front of them top of mind. I think that can fall by the wayside.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit more about that, because I think that's one of the things that many of us do. I think as PGA professionals, I think there's a lot of humility in the room, and we don't like shouting out from the, oh, I'm so great, I've done all these amazing things. It doesn't feel genuine sometimes. But I think sometimes we do rely on that everybody knows what we do, or they know that we work in this certain way. And if I say it again and again and again, it's going to become so repetitive. So tell us how we overcome that sort of hurdle of thinking that if I say it so many times, people are going to just get bored of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to get into our plan here, but that's where our content comes into line. So let's go to our next slide here. So this is our plan, and this is a bit of how we're going to get set up of our thing. I'll go back to this in a second, but kind of the system or the tactic that I want to talk about in this principle is, here we go. So this is a tactic to help us stay top of mind for people and increase our referrals and word of mouth. And I've seen it happen, is we have to commit to engaging with them. And for you, maybe this tactic works. We're going to reach out via email to our students once a month with some kind of content piece, and once a month or every other month with some kind of invite piece. And most people kind of go one or the other on this. Like Will, I'm on his email list. Jared sends me emails of all their upcoming things. I get invite emails from WR Golf all the time. There's a ladies' clinic in October coming up. I got the email the other day. I was very excited about it. When the summer camps were rolling out, a lot of emails about that. Yeah. You went all there, no content, right? So your students in your audience is just in tune with the things happening. They're not in tune with who you are or how you guys are helping people or what you believe. And so, yeah, it's happening during the coaching, but gosh, we all forget stuff so quickly, right? And
well, and I think that was a big thing for us this year. So we've been in Folsom for 20 years this summer, and so we send out an email blast, and we'll have, that ladies program we sold out in a day, and then we send out a junior tour, it's sold out in a day, and summer camps, and they're all sold out. Well, then we opened up a new course in Roseville, where some people know us, but not like Folsom. It's about maybe 12 miles away. And so then this is where Cordie really challenged me to be like, you can't just keep on inviting people to something. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you're about. They don't know your story. So it's like, even after 20 years of doing what I think is pretty well, having to relook at this idea of I actually need to provide quality content for them to understand, hey, how to raise a great junior golfer, how to be a great parent caddy. Videos and content like that could get in front of them, where they would then want to say, hey, what's the offer that you're providing, where it might be, hey, come out for a free coaching session for your junior student. So it's been a big shift for me. So as all of you are thinking about this in your business, just think about yes, times are going great. and it's all busy and it's all pumping because we had a great time through COVID, but we're seeing people going back to work and we're seeing the economy move in different directions depending on which news channel you watch. And so to me is I think you've got to be prepared for, like, we want a wait list. There's nothing better than having a wait list on every class, every session, because obviously then that means the demand is there. And if the demand is there, then we can increase the price or we can reduce the amount of time. We basically are more in control. And I think that's the concept behind the modern coach, is that so often we've just sold just a service, right? Here's my 1 hour lesson, versus people are desperate to come and work with you. They can't wait to work with you. They're going to show up. They're going to do the work. And I think we were talking about this last night with Jamie, and you look at Pilates classes and they're full and people show up every single time and there's a wait list, and if you miss, you get charged. And these people desperately want that. And I think sometimes with golf lessons, we don't really have that. It's almost like, yeah, I'll go and get a lesson versus I'm going to go and work on my long-term plan with my coach to break 90 or break 100 or play at high school or whatever it may be. So I think that for us has been understanding this engagement for us has been shifting back to, like, educate, explain who we are, how do we differentiate ourselves. So anybody in the room feel like they're doing a terrible job like me on that, or everyone killing it there? Raise your hand. Just me that sucks at that. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
no,
All right,
that
let's
checks
carry
out.
on. I'm going to
That checks
listen to
out.
this. Yeah.
So the principle is to engage. So we can do that via email. How else can you engage with students? Like, how do you keep in touch with students on an ongoing basis that you work with?
Or the ones that I work with, I think, things like On-Form Coach Now, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, how many of you are using some sort of platform like that to communicate back and forward? And again, I would say for me, it's every system that you see is fantastic. It's all going to come down to, do you actually use it, right? A GC quad's fantastic as long as it's on the range with you and not, like, back at your house, So it's the same with things like On-Form. Like, if you're actively using it every single time, like PGA Coach, if you get a lead that comes in and you respond to them and you get into the communication streams, it works really well. But that's really how I would say we're continuing a solid conversation with our current students. But as far as reaching out to new ones, actually, like, trying to get out there without word of mouth, yeah, that's something we're going to work on.
No, and that's a great example, because we have to engage regardless of where it is. So I picked email for this because I think it's just a super easy way that everyone can. Maybe this is Coach Now for you that you're doing this in, or some other platform that you're making sure you're staying engaged. But if you don't do those things, kind of the thing that I hope that you do after this is please get all your students into a database. MailChimp, it's actually Kit now, are fantastic. I use them in all my businesses. And then we want to segment our students out, just tag them, whether they're a past student, a lead, a student, a junior, parent, if you can. Don't stress about any of that. What matters is that we're engaging, regardless of if we set it up right. Because what we need to do is commit to something like this, of I have a plan that I'm going to follow through and I'm going to do. Because again, we get back to our goal of, hey, I need to drive word of mouth and referrals better. And this gives us a way to do that. So let's dive in a little bit deeper on content and invite. Emails. Gosh, I'm really good at switching slides. In case you
It's
noticed.
a good clicker.
Yeah, I'm doing
order
a good
them
job. So content, email ideas, things you can send out. I think here, what we need to make sure that you're doing is keeping it really, really human. You cannot sound in any way like overly generic or corporate or business-like. You have to sound like you. You have to talk about things that you talk about with students. And so absolutely critical that you're not just like trying to sound like everybody else in this perspective. And honestly, there are so many different things that you can do in this realm. I think one of my favorite things that you can do is kind of the testimonials and student success. You've always talked about that a lot. You've done 100-shot challenge, right? That's like one of your things you run people through?
Yeah. So our goal is 100-shot challenge for our coaches. They got to get 100 shots off of their players' game, and then we put those videos together. And so, yeah, like for me, as Alison was saying, like anytime you can hype your students or what your peers are saying about you, that's the best thing you can possibly post. And I think as you talk about referrals, one thing that I would say is like, for me, Josh, you were sort of saying like, I don't do a great job of it. The one trigger that I have is that someone will run up to you in the middle of somewhere and be like, coach, coach, coach. And you're like, guess what? I just shot and all I ask is, hold on a second. And I'll pull my phone out and then I'll just talk them through it. Tell me, I wanna know what you did, and they'll just tell me. And then they get a little bit tight, right? Because like, oh, well, and I'm like, no, tell me. And so I'm usually in the video sort of saying like, okay, so what's your name? Oh, my name's Josh. What did you shoot? Oh my God, what was the best part of your game? What were you shooting? So I just literally make it super organic. There's no microphone on them, who knows what the background is, but just trying to make it as realistic as possible. And then the second thing I will say there, just to add in, is that is the greatest time to ask for a referral. Because anytime somebody in this room has helped you, as a PGA members, everyone's helped each other in many ways, right? The first thing that pops into your mind when something's done something special for you is, how can I give back to that person? That's innately inside of us. So when someone says, I just shot 40, I'll just ask them, okay, so you got to do me a favor. Who do you know that needs to break 90? Please bring them out to a playing lesson with me. Come on, let's get out there and play together. So I think that's how you can start to make it a little bit more organic. That yes, you're going to be driving the emails, but you've got to put stuff in the emails. So think of, I would say right now, a student that you have that you feel you've got a great result for. Fire them a text right now, right? Just fire them a text. Hey, could you send me a quick, short, brief text or a quick video just telling me what the success was? Even if it's a, say, flow code, have a coach that just had a great result. You've got to start to get those coming in because those are so powerful, right? And I would even say for me is a lot of times just after a playing lesson, someone will come off and I'll say, hey, can I do a quick video testimonial? Because that video testimony of like, hey, I just went on the course. It was the best thing ever. I was so nervous beforehand. I went on the course for 9 holes with Will and his team, and it was so much fun. I learned so much. That's more relatable than sometimes when I have someone say, hey, I went from 96 and I just shot an 82. Because most people are like, I can't do that. So it's almost like they shut down. So I would be challenging you to try and get at least 2 to 3 video testimonials a week so you can start having content to share, whether it's in written form, whether it's in video form, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube, of your students, and start to build that library up so you can connect to people. So it's like, hey, we just got another young man to get a scholarship and go and play college golf, or someone make their high school team. So I think this is like what we've got to actively do daily so that we can have the content to start to actually put it out there to gain new people in.
The one thing that you've done well is a lot of you post like junior golfers when they have like big successes or something like that, which is awesome. I love like seeing those when you're posting those. But you also post like, Mike is 62 and he's trying to break 90 and we just did a playing lesson, right? Like it doesn't just have to be the elite level golfers. It can be that person too. I think the level up to that testimonial is like asking him, all right, what are the 2 things that you remember from this playing lesson as well? And like getting them to answer some of those questions, because then that also feeds more of like, oh, he remembered this and this. Great, next time I'm gonna write up something on that concept and that concept, because that's what stuck out to my students that I'm looking to get in front of anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. Because I mean, what a great opportunity. They just finished a coaching experience. Just say like, hey, what are the 2 things you're gonna remember from this? Because we can use it in so many ways. Primarily how we wanna use it is via email or however we're choosing to engage with our students. And it doesn't matter if it's like 10 views, if it's 10 views of the right people. Because those 10 people might make a huge difference. It might be somebody who you haven't seen in 12 months, but they decide to come back because there was something in there that they related to that was the pain point they're going through right now. So kind of viewing it from that lens of like, I'm making this so I can send it to my people so I can hit this system that I've committed to going through. Is one of the content things. I did put, I'm just having a great time with this. The next thing is the invite email, which I'm super passionate about. So I see people, it's either one or the other. You're sending all content emails or you're sending all invite emails, and most people don't get a cadence of both, right? Because we have to have both of these things to make sure that we're staying top of mind from people and staying engaged with them. So the invite email is honestly where you can have a ton of fun. And I think going beyond the ideas of like, hey, I have a clinic coming up, or hey, I have this thing coming up, but how can we create personal invites which feel unique? So this could be personal, if you have a list of like, oh man, I haven't seen that person in 6 months. I'm gonna send a text of like, I have a spot open on Friday, I would love to see you then and work with you again. Or maybe it's just a mass email, which looks like you sent it, but it's like, hey, I've got some spots open 2 weeks from now, would love to see you again out for a lesson. And it's a simple email like that, and it could just be straightforward to fill your lesson book, right? Maybe it's just like you do have 3 spots open next Friday. Let's just send an email out and see what happens. It might spark a conversation unrelated to that, which helps you out. But I think we can level up our invite emails to have a lot more fun with this. And one of those things is with a no-brainer offer. So talk about how, well, we could use playing lessons as a really good offer, so we could take a student, one student, and turn them into like 2 or 3 students by getting them into a playing lesson.
I was just going to say, just to go back on what you said about sending the texts out. So we have a text, it's called simple texting. So we've got all of our students in there. So we can just text them the schedule for each week, because we're always in teams. So all my players come out in groups. So I always want to make sure they're filled, right? Because that's maximum capacity, which is the most profitability for the company and for my coaches. And so I'll send ones out with just, hey, here's the schedule, right? I get 5 or 6 responses. But if I say, here's the schedule, hey, what's the biggest problem that you got going right now? What can we help you with? Coach will. I literally, you can see after on my phone, I will get 15 responses within inside of 10 minutes. Oh, I need to be there Thursday. I need to help on this. Just because I personalized it. So like, it's the little things like that that I've just stumbled across, and you start to realize is like, yes, I've simplified it because I've automated it, but I've realized I've taken the human out of it. So that's where I really have to remind myself is like, people want to talk about their golf games with you, right? To the point where you just want to just leave the room, right? Have you all had that experience? I mean, so they want to talk. So a lot of it is just trying to get that communication sparks back up. So I think that's a big part to it. And then, yeah, for me, as you talk about the offer, well, let me just hear from the room. Like, has anyone found an amazing offer that's really pulling people out? Like, who would say, like, there's an email you send out, or a flyer that you send out, or a text that you send out that gets people to sign up for something? Throw out some ideas that you've all seen as a really positive way of getting a big return on that. Come on, let's see it, people.
Anybody? Has anybody sent an email and had someone sign
Has anyone
up
did
for
a speed
something?
training? Anyone had a success with speed training? Okay.
Nobody.
Anyone use Operation 36? Okay. When you send that out at the beginning of the season, do you get a pretty quick take up on that?
What I recently did was anyone that has participated before, I just thought of it one day. I was driving around the course and I pulled out my phone. As I'm driving, I had to sound better than that, but letting them know that I'm starting my own monthly academy. And I didn't think it through. I didn't know what I was going to charge. Reaching out to you, I know we've had a relationship. Starting this monthly academy, super excited. Respond back. What we just set up. Boom, 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 boom. Just responses.
That's awesome. Just
Oh,
say
brilliant.
that again
Yeah,
for everyone.
yeah.
That was so good.
So reached out to all Operation 36 past and current participants, let them know that I was starting my own personal monthly kind of subscription academy. You'd get 2 lessons, an on-course playing lesson. We'd have a WhatsApp chat where I'd send content, and we'd have a back and forth. And I really didn't even think through pricing, what it would look like, what would I cap. I didn't even know what I was capable of. Like, how many 9-hole playing lessons could I give in a month when I still have golf shop responsibilities, junior league, etc. But I capped it at 10 people, and that day it was 10 people.
So genuine though, right? That you were genuine, just like, I got a thought, I got an idea, I'm going to share it with the people that know you, that you've got the relationship with. And I think that's where, if you've been through all the PGA coach training, it's all about this idea of, can we go from transaction to relationship? And that's what we all do naturally, right? We all have these amazing relationships with our students. But what we don't realize is we're just scratching the surface of how much more that they want. The amount of stuff that they watch on YouTube and reading Golf Digest, and they're just, they're watching good. They just love golf, right? And sometimes, how many of you in here have done golf trips, gone and taken people to different courses or to Europe? If you haven't done that before, you'll be amazed. Just send out an email. Just honestly, just send out an email with like, hey, did you check out Adair Manor? It's going to be where the next Ryder Cup is. And like, hey, I was thinking of doing a golf trip. Anybody interested? You have no intention of actually doing it because they may not say yes. You send it out and 8 people reply back, and you never said a price or a date or anything. You start to realize, like, okay, there's at least 8 people from one email. So I think that's what I continue to see, is that we don't realize the power that we have with these golfers. Because unlike a plumber, it's not like you're going to call your plumber, yeah, I can't wait for you to come around to my house again and like work on some of my like problems, or like that's not how it goes. A golf pro, it's like I always want to get better. I've always got something that I'm not doing right. I want to learn more about what I've been watching on TV. I want to be, so that's the non-stop relationship that we have with them. So I think the calls to action, things like speed training, right? It's a huge one, that you can be very successful with. I think, things like yardage gapping. I mean, from the data that I've seen, and Tim could say it even more clearly, but if you yardage gap somebody's bag, the average golfer, right, is going to save 3 strokes. Because we all know that they have no idea how far we all know that they're completely delusional on how far they hit it, right? I hit my 7-iron 165. Yeah, okay. At altitude, downhill, and you hit a sprinkler head. It
was hole.
Yeah, it was
six,
a big
that's how
massive hole
far.
yesterday. I hit my 6-iron. So I would be saying to you, here's the challenge I would have. How many of us, we heard Rick on course 70% of the time, absolutely love it. How many of you are doing on course coaching? Raise your hand. Okay.
Love it.
That's awesome. That's
SoCal
great. For us right there. Gotta love
so
that.
Good.
So my thing is, have you sent out an email? Remember that we did the 2,000 Southern California golfers responded to the question, if asked, remember this 2 years ago, we went through this data, if asked, would you be interested in joining a foursome with your PGA professional to go and play golf? 89% said yes. 5% said how much? 5% said who with, and 1% said, 1% said who with, and 5% they want to work on their swing. So many of us think technique, and the over technique, Rick, that you were talking about, right? They're desperate to get on a golf course. So if you send out, and again, for me, I love sending texts because it's hard to dodge a text, right? It's super easy to dodge an email. So I would be challenging you to just be like, hey, I'm planning to start doing an on-course playing lesson every Tuesday morning because it's my chilled morning because I'm the assistant pro and that's the only time I can get out. I'm only going to invite 3 people out to play golf with me. I'm just going to charge my regular 1-hour rate. You put that in an email and see how quickly it fills and how excited people are. I think that's the sort of thing. You've got to give them an offer that I'm going to go and play 9 holes for the same $120 I'd play for a 1-hour lesson on a driving range. And I'm at a public course, so it includes the green fee, includes the range balls. It's impossible to find somebody, every PGA coach lead that I have, and they go, how much do you charge? How good do you want to get? Ask them the questions. And then I said, well, what do you charge? I'm like, well, it's $175. We go out on the golf course for 9 holes. It includes range balls, green fees. I give you my workbook, and I'll have an improvement plan put together for you. It's impossible not to get them to say yes to that. The only time it happens is probably 1 in 20 where someone's like, well, I just really want to work on driver. And I say, fantastic. My teaching pro at our golf course, Morgan Malone, PGA member, he's great, fantastic. Want you to reach out to him because I already know they're not a fit for me, right? So I think that the idea is you've got to get that email to be something that's super interesting, which obviously we'd be backing that up with stats. If you talked about stats like we just saw with Clip, did you know the average golfer hits this many fairways, hits this many greens? Do you know to lower your score, the best thing you can do? If you're coming from a scoring perspective, if some of you coming from a more of a mindset perspective, if some of you coming from a stat perspective, the more you get into that, the more people know who you are, right? And again, Alison, why she's had so much success, if I think golf, I think trauma right away. And I love it because I do think it's traumatic, this game, the things that we've gone through in our journeys. But Alison, right away. So that's part of this. We might teach everybody, but you start to communicate in a way that people start to realize, this is how I can help your son, daughter, your golf game, your spouse, whoever it may be. So I would say to all of you, I would challenge you, if you're looking for more business, is to offer the opportunity to get on the golf course. And for some of you, that might need to be 3 holes, one-on-one for 1 hour, and you have to do it late in the evenings. You can make it however you want to work it. But I think that an offer that is really going to grab them, which is a little different than just a swing fix.
Yeah, and so that's a great invite, is making a no-brainer offer. I love the idea of stacking it on. If you're working with someone, they're there, you're trying to get them into a playing lesson, say, hey, do you have a friend that you would want to come bring with this? Maybe it's free, for them to come along with. And then maybe there's a great opportunity, referral, word of mouth. We're just growing that with that kind of offer. Jumping back to what you did, tactically, I just want to talk about a few things you did so well with that. You didn't overthink it. You didn't make a flyer. You didn't have a really long email with all the details and stuff. You did something really human, is you talked to someone like they were in front of you, right? You just pulled out the video and you just did it and you sent it. You didn't. I bet if you had hired a video crew to make a whole, like fancy video and do all that and send it out, like it wouldn't have converted as well because you had the right audience, you knew the right message because you talked to them all the time, and you did something really human to engage with them, invite them into something no-brainer. Like it's so good. So that's why we have to know who our people are and know what they want. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and I genuinely, we've talked before, I think a lot of us, we think if we invest all this time into great video, great content, great sound, it's going to be amazing. But talk about, you were saying, the #1 hit video that you've ever had and the frustration.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at like top videos, it's like, oh, I shot this on my phone at a thing when I was like running by and there was no mics or anything. But for some reason, like Instagram will pick something up and it goes crazy. Yeah, like one of the top videos was at a PGA show. I was just walking by something and filmed it kind of quick and then, whatever, edited it that night on CapCut as I was frustrated that I was trying to do this. Anyways, and so it's like it's not always the things that you think are going to go so well. And so for you guys, that's why it's important to do things that matter. Like that matters for you, taking that action. Worrying about the next Instagram post probably doesn't matter. Doesn't make a difference for your business, but that kind of stuff does,
Yeah.
which I love talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Any questions at this point?
Invite, content emails. All right, I got a few more tactical things here on content. I thought you guys would like this. Content made easy. So if you want to write an email, Will, you love writing, don't you? Just generally, it's really good, spelled correctly.
Yeah.
Good grammar. So maybe you're like that. I have become a total voice-to-text person. So there's this app called Whisper Flow. You can get it on your phone and on your computer. You literally just have a button. You hit the button and you talk, and it is better than voice-to-text because it kind of edits as it goes with AI. It's super good. I couldn't recommend it enough. I think I just got the monthly report. I spoke like 10,000 words this month or something and used it every day. So it's great. Then you can take that, throw it in ChatGPT or Claude, whatever is your AI of choice.
How much are you all using AI? Just raise your hand to AI. Okay, I can't, if there's one thing that I would say that you need to start to realize in it is I remember my brother a few months, probably 6 months ago, telling me Will, everything you think you should put through chat before you even do it. And it has just completely changed my time in terms of anyone who's ever received an email from me, I probably didn't even spell my own name right? And there's no periods or there's just disastrous, right? I can now just voice note through this and just be able to come up with an amazing email. And then I just read the email back to it and say, I wouldn't say that. That's not how I'd say it. So it's my voice. Literally things that used to take me, I wouldn't even do it. I'd just be I'm not even going to bother to do it. It takes me less than 2 minutes to do. And so I would really challenge all of you is people say AI is going to take our jobs, but they're all saying no, people using AI are going to take your job. Because if you're not getting back to that person with a really clean, crisp email, guess what? Somebody else is. Even though it's written through chat, it was your voice. And the more you use it, the more it literally will write emails for me that I'm like, that's amazing. That's exactly what I would have said. So I think it's, again, what do we want to be doing? We want to spend our time coaching. That's what we want to do. I don't want to do any social media. I don't want to do any marketing. I just want more people in front of me who know who I am, who know what I'm about, and help them to achieve their goals. So I would say for all of you, get the free version of chat, throw it in there. Cordie, explain this slowly to them so this explains what this is, because...
because this could be super dangerous, because this is, if you use it too much, you might lose all the human element, right? Which we can't do, because they've gotten emails from you and they get texts from you, so that people know what you sound and talk like, right? So we can't just suddenly start sending out random stuff. So that being said, I made this real quickly, kind of edited together a few things that I used, but this is a prompt that I would use. So let's say that you had some content that you wanted to send out. You're working with a student and they had some clipped data that you thought was super interesting, and you found this thing they needed to work on and the drill you put together. So you use Whisper Flow. You just talk through the whole story. You tell the whole story of exactly what happened, and then you've got that whole transcript. You're going to put that into Chat or Claude, and then you also need to put something like this.
So where do you put it, and what is a prompt?
So I would just throw everything in one text thread. So I would take my whole transcript, put it in there, and then I'd copy and paste this below that. And so it's going to get you an article or something like an article that is going to be more polished,
but explain
have a bit
what
more
that prompt,
structure.
because explain what the prompt is saying. So this is the big thing about using chat. the way I heard it was, if you went to a library that had everything in the entire world in it, and you went to the librarian and said, I'd like a book on sci-fi, that's not really great. If you said, I want a book on sci-fi, and you gave them all they will find exactly what you want. So the prompts are going to set up how it's going to write, the way it's going to talk. Like, so go through some of the reasons of why.
Yeah, I mean,
important.
some of this is super important. Like, we have to let chat know, like, who we're talking to, how we want to talk to them, how we want to structure sentences. So that's like a bit that I think is super important. And then we got to get rid of all the AI crap that it puts in there. Like all the generic words and the EM dashes and the fluff and all the garbage that I'm sure you guys have gotten an email from a company and you're like, they didn't write that.
Yeah.
We can't sound like that, right? So we got to get rid of that and then just kind of tell it how to write and what to write. So this is, I tried to make one that should work for everybody, but like you should tweak it based on your style. Or here you go. Ready? This is a good one. You just have chat make a prompt. Tell it who you are, what you do, what you're trying to do. Write me a great prompt so I can write articles, and it'll write you a prompt back to you. So there's like if you really want to go meta with that.
So you'd be saying, I'm in SoCal, I teach, my main focus is parents of high school players. I'm mainly teaching girls. The biggest problems that they have are the times I give lessons to, and you just put it all in there, and then it will start to write being that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then it gets back. So then this is where you can be super genuine. So you're just not just outsourcing it. You're just literally just becoming better at what you already do. So if you're doing lesson plans, I used to do all my improvement plans myself, right? At the end of the lesson, I'd fill them all out. Nobody could read my writing. I couldn't even read my writing. I didn't even know what it said. But I'll just go in there and voice note for 60 seconds. And then after, it already has a framework of how my improvement plan is going to be, who they are, what their last 3 rounds of golf were, what their 3 areas of problems are, what their commitment levels are, what the timeline is. And it will just drop it straight in there, and I can send it, and it's all typed out. I drop it into Coach Now, and they get it. They can read it. I can read it. My coaches can read it. So it's things like that, again, make you more effective so you can, I believe, be out on the golf course coaching your players and not stuck in emails and stuck in responses,
Yeah, we just want to make all that stuff easy. So this is a great way to do that. I put it in a doc so you can copy and paste this like direct thing. If you go to that bit.ly link, it's on there, and I can put it up at the end too if you guys want to grab that. Yeah. So the next one, so we had a review, engage, and the last thing, the next one here is automate. And so like this, some of these things we're going to automate with like automation tools, but some of the stuff, like let's go back to like if you committed to a plan like this where we're going to do content and invites because I know I'm going to stay in touch with my students really well, and then I'm also going to make sure my lesson book is full and I'm generating more referrals. You can't automate this. You actually need to do it, but what you need to do is commit to this system and this plan, because it's easy to stand up here and say like, this is what you should do, you're going to do it, and it's easy for you to leave here and say, yeah, I'm going to do it, but then it's hard unless you don't. Maybe this needs to go on your calendar of like, maybe it's the first Wednesday of every month I think about this or whatnot. But you need to automate some of these processes to engage, because otherwise you're going to, wake up 6 months from now and you have sent 2 emails and you haven't really kept up this engagement of all of your students that you were hoping to.
Well, and I think with that, automation, remember, is we're in a service industry, so I don't think this is an idea of I automate it so I don't have to be part of it anymore. I'm putting it in my schedule so I'm disciplined to do this. I mean, none of us, I don't think there's anybody in this room that I can guarantee you almost none of you have showed or no-showed a lesson this year. I'd almost guarantee it, right? Haven't showed up 5 minutes late to a lesson. And if you've been late, you haven't texted them beforehand to let them know and then spent 15 minutes afterwards and sent an apology text afterwards. Like, that's who we are. It's just sometimes we don't get down to the focus of like, I've got to spend time working on my business rather than in my business. And I think that really one of the big takeaways that I hope you all get today is everybody's about followers and likes and great, fantastic. Is there any more money in your bank because of that? If so, congratulations. But the measurable for you is, am I booked out? I don't know how many hours a week you want to coach. Are all my programs full? Do I have a wait list? Am I able to increase my value? Can my price go up? Like, that's our measurable, everybody. It's like, can I make the amount of money I want to make in less amount of time? That's the concept behind the modern coach, is that's effectiveness. The better you get in anything, the more you get to charge, but the less you have to work, right? That's the concept. And so I would challenge all of you to start to be like, am I chasing likes, or am I chasing followers, or am I chasing another lead coming through that's converted, that turned into the average lifetime value of a customer? How many of you know that your average lifetime value of a customer? Raise your hand if you know that number. Okay. So that's something that...
Do you?
Yeah, because of ChatGPT. This is like the craziness of it. I dumped in, and again, what I would say is if you do chat, I do the paid version so I can put my own stuff in so it doesn't go out to the public. But I dropped 7 years of data, every transaction we've ever done at WR Golf, into the system. And then I just asked it, what's the average age of my student that comes to me, juniors, okay? How long on average do they stay? And on how much do they pay us? Bang, like 9 months, $1,872. Cool, so what are we now focusing on? Around about that 6 or 7 mark, have they played in tournaments? What are they doing? That's averaging kids that just come to a camp and other kids that are with us, and we can see who are the top people that have been with us. Like, so all of this data is there to then start shaping the way that I would communicate to my students, because it's not coming down to the money, right? The real goal is, I want this player, I got to come to America and play college golf, and I get to be a PGA professional. Like, it's not to do with the money. It's like, I get to do what I love for a living. That's what we all focus on every day. So how do I engage with that parent? How do I help that parent? How do I support them? How do I make it more focused on ADM, right? Golfers for life. So I think, like, to me, that's the sort of thing that really starts to help you drive, what am I going to do with my time? Yes, I'm going to automate time once a week to go ahead, and it might just be text all my, one of my students a day and just check it, how you guys doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Like, that might be your automation. It might be an email. It might be an Instagram post. But to me is, what's the outcome that you're looking for, right? And then what is the medium that you do that in the best, and how do you stay consistent with that? So that's why I want each one of you sort of taking a different view on how you will do it. That's going to be the payoff in the long run.
Yeah. So we're going to automate that by maybe it's every Wednesday morning you block off an hour, and we're going to do that. The other thing that I am really passionate about automating is like a new student sequence. So when you have a new lead or a new customer coming into your business, like, are there some messages that you would want them to know? And yes, you are telling them things when you're coaching them, right? Like, yes, you're communicating things, they're getting to know you, but they're probably, again, not going to remember it, and it's not going to stick as much as you would like it to. So that's why this is something we can automate, right? Like, when we have a new student come in to our system, let's send them some emails. And so this could be a 4-week, 1 email a week. Kind of, this would be the basic thing. If you come in and say, hey, here's the deal. Welcome to the academy. Here's kind of what to expect. Here's the style of how we coach. Here's what you can do with us. Those testimonials are hugely important. So hopefully they can find some people they relate to. They'll be like, this person's like me. This is a place for me. Like, this is a great spot for me. And then get some content in there of like, hey, here's a concept, here's something that I do and I believe in. Again, we're just getting that student more involved, and then you should probably tell them like who you are. How did you end up where you are today, and tell that whole story so they have that context about where you come from. So I love this idea. I found it hugely important because you might not get a reply, or you won't get a reply. I can almost guarantee that, but maybe it's in the 2nd session or 4th session or 5th session they mention, like, oh yeah, I remember you sent that email that I saw, and I learned that about you there. But like, this is all about just like getting our students more engaged, right? Because the more engaged they are with us, the more they're going to come back, the more they're going to stay, and the better students, better outcomes you're going to have for them.
So how many of you have that, like a drip campaign that when someone signs up, they get dripped an email to educate them? Raise your hands. I'm keeping mine down too, don't worry. Okay, now here's the honest part. How many of you get done with a lesson and talk to one of your other coaches and go, seriously, like, how do they not know to meet on the putting green? I mean, like, we meet on the putting green every single time. It's in, like, how is it not possible? Anyone have those frustrations where your students don't seem to do, like, where they're meant to meet? Raise your hands. Yeah. If you don't raise your hands, you're like an angel, or you don't teach golf, right? So to me, is like, that's where I'll talk to Jared and be like, oh, why don't they know this? And it's like, so where do we have it? Or we now post it on, this is all, lately, we've now got it on Coach Now. So every time they get on, it says all the details, all the positives. How do you win at coaching at WR Golf? Like, what are the expectations? What do you need to do? We have a handout that we give them right away. We're now putting a drip email campaign because just the automation of just lack of headaches, which is the thing. And we have a parent expectation and junior list. Every parent gets it. It's just with the adults, I just thought adults would have more of a clue. But apparently I don't, and neither do they. So I think these are things where if you're seeing consistent things happen, they didn't know that your cancellation policy was 24 hours, so you gave another free lesson away. Well, you've got to talk about the truth, which is like, my time is valuable, your time is valuable, so this is my cancellation policy, or this is what I expect as far as posting to coach now, or, and if you don't say that stuff over and over again and put it in a place where they get educated on it, then it is your fault. It is my fault at my company,
All right, so we got another good tactic here. In the automate section, that principle, and one thing you definitely need to automate, maybe it's not like always happens, but maybe it's more of a manual thing, but is asking for reviews. And this was really fun. I've seen this again and again of people not really caring about reviews. Will.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell us about the review. How long have you been in business? It's like a couple years before
20
we
years.
looked, right?
And before this year, I think we had like 11 reviews, and one of them was the greens are slow, but I'm an independent contractor golf course, and the restaurant was closed one day. So that was the only reason why we were in a 5.0. But yeah, we just didn't, we got complacent because we had just word of mouth. Everybody's signing up. All of our programs are filled. So it's like, who cares? Well, you care once you start to go to other locations. So we challenged all of our coaches this summer, like, okay, you get a review, you get a little bonus, and we're going to have a competition during the summer. So what are we up to now?
You get to 51.
51, that's a lot better than
I think
11.
that green speed and that restaurant review are kind of bringing you down there still, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, but like this is such a simple thing, but it's so easy to ignore because maybe it's uncomfortable to ask someone for a review. Actually, I know it is uncomfortable because I've had to do it, right? Like it's not super easy saying like, hey, can you leave a review on Google? Like here's a link. There can be some discomfort that, and I understand. So that's why we need to make like, this is a tactic that I am committing to, and I'm gonna do it. I don't care how I feel that day. Like I'm gonna do this because the reality is every person that's a referral or word of mouth does look you up and is going to try to figure out like who you are. And so when they go to Google, this is what comes up. Like when I search Will Robbins Golf, this is what comes up, and they're gonna make a lot of assumptions based on if Will Robbins Golf had like 4 reviews versus 51, right? Because 51 ultimately means like, okay, there's a lot of students who've been in business a while. I can trust this person. And then even if you're a great coach and you have 3 and it's completely irrelevant, like it actually does matter. So this is one of those things of like, put an initiative on it. I love the bounty program for folks. Like, hey, if they got a review and they're mentioned to do it, give them a bonus. Like, that's awesome if you have coaches working for you.
Yeah, we had a QR code. And it was just really at the end of the week because so many parents are like, oh, my God, they loved it. It was the best time ever. And it was like, hey, we'd love a Google review. Oh, yeah, no worries. And they just click on it, go straight to Google, and they can post it. So it's a simple thing, but we just hadn't done it. But I think for me, it was going to a second location this year over in Roseville and starting to realize, like, Cordie's like, okay, great. You want to do all this face? Here I am. I got to do Twitter and Facebook or whatever it all is. He's like, okay, good. Like, how about some reviews? Let's look at how WR Golf is. So, like, I'm just being honest with all of you. We took a hard look at WR Golf and realized, like, Will, you're not even doing the basics at your own course right now. How about you get those in place? So as you build into a second location, you'll have more success. And yes, maybe then you do some social and you post some stuff and paid ads and stuff like this, but it's ridiculous to just start throwing money at it thinking that it's going to do it. When you've got a great name and a great brand in the area, you've got to go more organically. So yes, it's slower and yes, it's harder. And I think sometimes it's more fun to just throw money at something and think it's going to work out. And then 6 months into it, you're like, okay, well, I wasted a bunch of money and now I'll go ahead and do the stuff that somebody told you. Just like our golf students, right? You tell them, just work on your putting. 2 lab putters later, a new driver, and 4 new wedges. Like, okay, I should work on my putting. You're like, okay, good.
do some drills. So here's a quick email. I do like one word of caution. I put this is in that QR code as well, so I'll go back to that at the end. You can copy and paste this. But like, you will only get like if you're just sending an email out, a blanket email to people afterwards, you'll get like maybe 20% to fill it out. That's not that many. So maybe text it to people, right? Like if they had a lesson that day and you're in that aggressive phase of like, I need to get more reviews here so I look, more legit when somebody Googles my name, it's text it, get that percentage up so you don't have to get the volume of people through to get that number of views. So, yeah. So the principle is automate. We're going to do that Some of that's manually by just like time blocking when we're going to do these things. Some of that is like you should automate a new student email sequence. Maybe you automate the review, maybe you don't, maybe that's manual. But that is the third principle there of automate. Yeah. Any questions there on that or comments? No.
Biggest takeaways from today? Like, who would say I'm doing a great job in Google reviews? Let's see who's doing the best on Google reviews. Who knows that they have some Google reviews? We got someone in the back. How many have we got?
Like 6, 7, 5-star.
Boom.
Yeah, there
Love
we
it.
go.
All right. Who else? Have we got more than 6 over here? We got a 6. 12 in the corner. 12 in the corner. 12. Any more than 12?
I love it.
Right.
Are you winning this competition then at 51?
Yeah, what did I win?
I don't know.
A free playing lesson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you see that as something? Let's all play devil's advocate. Why won't this work for you, right? Because a lot of you are going to come up to Cordie afterwards and ask him questions, right? So play devil's advocate. Why won't it work? I'm at a private club. I don't need to do that. How about that one? Yeah, I hear that all the time. Oh, I'm at a private club. I don't need to use the PGA Coach app. I can't use it. It's like, so you're always going to be at that club? Always? You're not going to build your own personal brand? You don't want those students to maybe follow you if you move somewhere else? You might not open up your own indoor place, you know? So I challenge you is like, we are all personal brands, right? We all have our own personal brand. It doesn't matter if you're an employee, right? You are the CEO of your own company, right? Even if you're a head professional, W-2 at a private club. You've got to be building that brand because they're buying you, right? They're buying your experience, your technology, your wisdom, you know? So what about as far as asking for referrals? How do we change now? Josh, what would you say? When are you going to put it in? Asking for referrals, how are you going to add it in? Is it going to be through email? Is it going to be through when you're doing the testimonial?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
You nailed it because Cordie said that last night because he's not a PGA professional, right? He just plays a great golfer, scratch golfer, and but he's just like, it's just funny because here we are telling everybody to do that with their golf games, but then you're going to tell them all to do it, but it's like, it's so easy to tell someone to do it. It's just hard to discipline yourself. But that's where, again, I would be telling you is, what is your target? Like this coming year, is it more time or is it more money that you need? Like, it's a personal question for you to ask. Where's Blake? I was just asking Blake, like, more time. If you've got 3 kids, you want more time if they're young, right? So how do you effectively create more time? You have to drive up value. Drive up value, well, if you teach 4 people at the same time, you can double, if not triple, your income. So it's like, okay, so different times, some of you may be coming to the end of a head professional career and be like, I just don't want that much, but I'd love to just be on the golf course a couple times a week doing playing lessons. That'd be amazing. It's like, fantastic. You can take 1 people out, second person out. If it's not about the money, it's just about the enjoyment. Others of you are like, I need an extra 25 grand a year to handle what's going on with inflation and all the stuff here. So this is what I would say is, get the measurable. And I don't think the measurable should be, can I get 10,000 likes or, you know, like I said, MySpace is coming back, just a heads up. It's gonna rocket for sure. Just trust me.
Yeah. So one basic thing, you asked how many reviews people have. Maybe a show of hands, does everyone have a Google My Business profile set up like this? Like everyone, raise your hand if you have one of these set up. How about that? Okay. Well, then we should probably do that. Okay, so you got to go set up a Google Business profile. And I think even if you're like, maybe you're at a private club, but you're, you have a lesson book and maybe see if this is possible. Like this is really important, having a Google My Business, even if you maybe don't have like a website or anything. I would still say go set this up. Yeah,
if you search on Google, that's the #1 thing they prioritize is a Google Business. So you're going to be right at the very top of the page without paying for it.
Like if you search like plumber, There's Google Business things show up first in a map, right? It's same if someone searches golf coach near me, like it's that same thing that shows up. So yeah, I guess we got to back up then. First step, set up a Google My Business profile. Then after that, go get reviews for it. And this is where I'd focus because this is what people are going to see right away when they search for you. So make sure to do this one first.
So to wrap up, just Cordie's going to be here for the next 2 days. I'm going to be here till tonight. But again, I would say for all of you, just heading back onto what PGA Coach is all about, right? The PGA mission, right? Grow the game and help the member. I believe that as AI continues to grow and continues to take away things that we used to do, we're going to start to realize the PGA professional is somebody that can teach and grow the game, right? And so we can get people out on a golf course. And I don't think robots will be doing that anytime soon, I'm hoping, right? So I would challenge all of you, dive into the PGA Coach training, dive into what we've talked about here today. And Jamie tomorrow is going to tell us some pretty exciting stuff about what's happening here in Southern California next year, what this is going to look like, and how really SoCal and Jamie and his team are going to be shaping the whole future of golf coaches coaching coaches. So huge thank you. Look forward to talking to you all. And I think lunch is ready.
Yeah, thank you.